April Fools! There you go, pal.
Let's take a look at 14 mistakes that you might have missed in a few of SpongeBob's holiday specials. Some are hard to miss, others are hilarious. So let's dive right in.
Gary!
Okay, I'll do it.
Now don't hurt him, Squidward. Okay, steady.
Number 1, Scaredy Pants. First up on our list is a Halloween special from Season 1 called Scaredy Pants. In this episode, SpongeBob is dubbed Scaredy Pants, and in return, he tries to scare the rest of Bikini Bottom.
I've come for your pickle.
Scaredy Pants gets easier to scare every year!
SpongeBob isn't too happy about being scared and that he gets scared so easily. So he goes home and prepares for Halloween, all while confiding in Gary. While he talks, watch closely.
Every Halloween, no matter how hard I try, everybody scares me. Well, I'm sick of it.
Did you see it? While SpongeBob is talking, he cuts out a second eye in his pumpkin. We can clearly see there are 2 eyes while he is standing inside the pumpkin. But then, after the camera shows the pumpkin from the outside, then cuts back to the inside, there is only 1 eye. The eye that SpongeBob just cut should be to the right of the only eye that appears, but it's gone.
Now that's scary! Let's go scare somebody.
With the help of Patrick, SpongeBob plans on getting revenge by scaring people all over town. It doesn't really work, so SpongeBob and Patrick decide to head on over to Mr. Krabs' Halloween party and scare the guests. Everyone at the party is having a great time in their costumes, for the most part anyways.
Oh, Dad, you're embarrassing me again!
There are 2 mistakes in this scene. Did you notice them? One is easier to spot than the other. When Mr. Krabs is first bobbing for apples, the bucket is brown and full of water. It's even brown during the close-up. But when he is choking on the apple and Pearl is speaking, the bucket is gray and empty. The second mistake happens at the very beginning, and it happens really fast. It's easy to spot during normal speed if you know what you're looking for. But let's slow it down. While Mr. Krabs is bobbing for the apple, the water briefly flashes red. Kind of weird.
Are you ready, SpongeBob? I am the Flying Dutchman!
SpongeBob and Patrick have cleverly devised a plan to scare the partygoers at the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob decides to use the story that gets to him in order to scare the others. The mistake here is simple and easy to spot. SpongeBob's fingers are normal for the entire episode except for here. They are clawed instead of round, but it definitely makes him look scarier. The partygoers definitely agree. Well, until... When he thought his plan couldn't get any more worse, the Dutchman himself arrives.
You're not scary. Okay, let's get this over with. First, I've got to get rid of this stupid costume.
Did you see the mistake? No, not Patrick's terrible job at shaving. At the very beginning, Patrick gave him a pair of shoes to complete his ghost outfit.
Step into these babies, Hans.
SpongeBob is wearing them throughout the entire episode. But when the Dutchman removes his blanket, the shoes disappear too, and he's back to wearing his normal ones. Number 2, I Was a Teenage Gary. Up next, we have another episode from the first season. In I Was a Teenage Gary, SpongeBob leaves town to go to an annual jellyfishing convention for the weekend and tasks Squidward with feeding Gary.
I love Gary!
Well, I don't. Get somebody else.
I guess we can't go away this weekend after all, Patrick.
Go away? You mean, if I watch Gary, you guys will be gone all weekend?
Obviously, it doesn't take much to convince Squidward to watch Gary. The idea of a quiet weekend is far too enticing, but no one ever said he'd be good at it.
Ah! The snail! I forgot the snail!
In order to save Gary, the doctor recommends snail plasma, and a guilty Squidward tries to help out the best way he can. Unfortunately, Squidward's help only makes things worse.
Squidward, you've injected me with snail plasma.
Trust me, SpongeBob, nothing's gonna happen to you. You're fine.
Yow!
While this episode is fun and all, there are still some mistakes made along the way, and they start at the very beginning. The episode begins with SpongeBob playing fetch with Gary. Did you notice the watch on SpongeBob's wrists? It isn't there when he first throws the toy, and appears right after. He checks the time and goes to sit on the couch, waiting for Gary to return.
Huh? Good job, Gary. I love you, Gary.
And then, in the next scene, the watch is gone again.
This is gonna be the best 3 days of my life.
Instead of taking care of Gary, Squidward decides to get a tan. While on his way out of his house, there are a few mistakes here. SpongeBob's house is missing a window and a chimney, and the eyebrows and nose on Squidward's house are connected, making a T-shape.
Gary, I'm home.
When SpongeBob returns from the jellyfishing convention, he unlocks the door with a scallop-shaped key. But if you look closely, the keyhole only appears on the door for one scene. When SpongeBob first approaches the door, it isn't there. Then it is there when he unlocks the door, and it's gone again when the door swings open.
Will you clam up?
Meow, meow.
Meow, meow.
Patrick, annoyed at his friends turned snails singing, tells them to shut up. However, in this episode, Patrick's rock is much smaller, or he is much bigger, than in other episodes. Number 3, Valentine's Day. The third episode on our list is Valentine's Day, a holiday special from Season 1 where SpongeBob gives all his friends gifts. In his attempt to surprise Patrick with the best gift, Patrick is led to believe SpongeBob didn't get him anything at all.
You got me a handshake?
A friendly handshake. Happy Valentine's Day.
Patrick needs love too!
Patrick loses it because he feels everyone got a gift from SpongeBob except for him, and he goes berserk on the carnival. Little does he know, Sandy is on the way with his big gift. Unfortunately, she hit a bit of a snag, which caused the whole misunderstanding to begin with.
SpongeBob, we got ourselves a little problem. I got a pack of chocolate-eating scallops trying to wrestle a balloon. Sandy to SpongeBob. I got my ox in a ditch here. I'm way off course.
This is where our first mistake happens. Did you notice it? In the first clip, the chocolate balloon has a basket at the bottom, akin to a hot air balloon. But in the second scene, despite the camera angles being roughly the same, there's no basket. Unless the scallops took off with it at some point, it's just gone.
Mine, mine, mine!
If you look in the background, behind the Valentine's Day Carnival sign, you'll notice it's just your typical normal background. But later,
You're a sly one. I can't find it here in the carnival because it's on top of Mount Climb Up and Fall Off.
where did that come from? In the first clip, there was nothing in the background. But Mount Climb Up and Fall Off comes out of nowhere for this scene. Number 4, Fools in April. Next is Fools in April from Season 1. In this episode, SpongeBob is celebrating April Fool's Day to his heart's content, much to Squidward's annoyance. As payback, Squidward tries to prank SpongeBob, but ends up hurting him in the process.
April Fools!
Oh.
SpongeBob is having a grand time, but not everyone is a fan of his antics.
That's it! SpongeBob and stupid pranks! I'm gonna show him what a real prank is all about!
It should come at no surprise that Squidward's idea backfires on him, like most of his ideas. But we're not here to talk about Squidward being the punchline of most of SpongeBob's jokes. Let's take a look at the first mistake at the start of the episode.
Well, it's been nice working here. Thanks for everything, Mr. Krabs.
Squidward, wait!
Just send my last check to the P.O. box, Mr. Krabs.
No more jokes on you today, I promise.
You do?
Sure.
Well, as long as it's not me.
Maybe Squidward should consider a field as a magician instead of a musician. He pulled that hat out of nowhere. The last time we see the hat, Squidward left it sitting on Mr. Krabs' desk and walked away. But when he decides he won't be quitting, he has it again.
You guys know I was just kidding, right?
Oh, man. Poor kid.
That guy has definitely got some issues to work out.
After Squidward's plan backfires and everyone is angry at him, they leave the Krusty Krab.
Wait, don't go!
You stink!
If you look closely, as the fish file out of the door, their models change. They end up becoming clones of one another as they fade into the background. And for our last mistake.
But you have to promise not to tell anybody.
I promise.
Really?
You can clearly hear SpongeBob's distinctive voice above the crowd shouting, "April Fools!" But SpongeBob's mouth doesn't move at all. Everyone else's mouths move, and SpongeBob's body even moves up then down with the cadence, but his mouth does not, which makes for an unsettling image.
Sorry, Gary, I couldn't control myself. Meow!
Anyway, that's all the mistakes for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe. Then click the video on screen now to watch our newest video. We'll see you there.
April Fool!